So I've really wondered many times if really, I'm going to start here and then we'll grow the idea. If we just kind of come and go evolutionary as humans, like some variation of human kind of just comes and goes, and it's just, we're like an ecosystem to the planet. Mm-hmm. Like it's just, you just get too big, you get too greedy, whatever it is, and Earth swallows you up and says, let's start again. And we can continue on with that. But what do you think about that idea? And is there any evidence that shows that?
Yeah, I mean, I do think if you look at, the evolution of species, it's like you cut it or you don't, you compete. And if you don't make it, you don't make it. I mean, there's no question that like we could, as a species, like the most obvious game ender for us, right, is nuclear war, right? So we as a species could get to such a point where somebody finally pushes one of these buttons, because there are these, these weapons all over the world, and we could go and have a nuclear war, which would not only kill a lot of people, but would poison a lot of the planet. And I don't think humanity would be erased, but it would be like a, biblical setback. And we would probably have to kind of become, scrape our way out of the ashes and start over. I mean, I think that.
What about going inner Earth? What about going inner Earth then to hide from it? And what about what about inner Earth people?
No, there's no inner Earth people. You're watching King Kong movies too much.
Hell yeah, I am watching King Kong and all kinds of other crazy stuff on YouTube. I mean,
we can build a bunch of shelters and live down there, and life would be pretty miserable.
I mean, what's the difference between that and like inner Earth? I mean, like if you have to go inside the Earth to wait out the storm, couldn't somebody else have done that?
Yeah, but there's no sunlight down there. There's no food. Like, how do you grow anything? What
if they have their own ark and the ark makes some light?
Danica.
I am proposing many crazy things because I love to get a reaction and hear what gets traction.
If you think there's a bunch of Morlocks hanging around down there, walking around in their secret underground chambers. To me, first of all, let's just think about it this way. If you were one of these underground people, who the hell would want to live underground? Why wouldn't you just come up through a sewer grate and be like, enough of this. I want to be out here where it's sunny.
I think the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles did that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just think that, yes, to answer your first question, yeah, the Earth can swallow us up like the bugs that we are. And I think that, and COVID, I think, was a little bit of a wake up call that you can have, especially because of how globalized we are now and air travel. And we just are constantly in each other's, right? Every day, thousands of people are crossing borders. Millions of people are crossing borders. So, a plague, a weapon, a bioweapon, a nuclear weapon. Yeah. Like we are not any safer from extinction than anybody else, or the dinosaurs. A meteor could hit the planet.
Okay, let's hop, skip, and a jump to another crazy idea, because you've done some stuff around it, but extraterrestrials. I mean,
okay, here's my take. I 100% believe in extraterrestrials. There is no doubt. Anyone who doesn't think that there isn't life somewhere else in the universe is, at this point, it's a really hard argument to make. I mean, the data just shows that there are Earth-like planets. There are planets that sit in this sweet spot in other solar systems. Of course there are, right? And those conditions of sunlight and an atmosphere, we know things will grow. So, I mean, I just think that as each day marches on, it's just becoming clearer and clearer that the probability is just overwhelming that there's life in the universe. Whether it's been here and is like skulking around in the shadows, I am much more skeptical about. Now, there are things that I have seen, some of these videos, these Navy videos that show these high-speed. I mean, I don't know what they are. I don't have all the answers. There's just something to me a little... I have a sort of a hard time believing that they're here or they've been here and they're just kind of hiding and taking cows and testing on them and stuff. I don't know. It does seem like, I guess my theory is that life exists in the universe, but it is rare. Like rare meaning you have to travel a long way to find it. So
Right.
I would think
But
that if
given the fact that there are
civilization,
like trillions of galaxies or billions of galaxies,
so like maybe not
billions of
rare
suns.
mathematically, but probably rare that any one species could ever reach another, right?
Got
Because in order to do that, you not only have to not blow yourselves up and become so advanced that you can create some sort of technology that is way ahead of where we are to create faster than light travel. So you have to stick
get off
around
planet. You mean the stuff that we're talking about right now, getting off the planet? You mean the stuff that we're doing right now?
Yeah, but to reach another planet of people, we are so far from that.
Baby steps, man. We're like
steps, right?
You know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to hang around long enough that you don't get wiped out by another civilization, a meteor, a plague, a whatever. You have to survive long enough to become that advanced. And then I feel like if you pull that off and you're going to go all the way across the universe, you're going to go and like not hide. You're going to be like, what's up? We're here. We did it. I don't buy this whole they're all sneaky. Why are they sneaky? Why are aliens sneaky?
Because they're different and we'd freak out. Like, what would you do if you saw like Bigfoot or like something crazy that we don't know if really exists, but maybe, and this is like within our psyche even. And if you saw it and it kind of resembles this and that, and you put them together and you're like, oh, you'd still freak the hell out. You'd still be like, holy shit, and you'd run or you'd shoot it and you'd test it.
Yes. Right. This is the sort of childhood's end, or like, this is like a Star Trek thing. This is the prime directive in Star Trek. You don't mess with a civilization, with a planet that's more primitive than you, because it will totally alter their development, because they'll start worshiping you or try to kill you or whatever. I guess that's sound thinking. I mean, I'm a big Star Trek fan, so I get it, but I just kind of think, I don't know. I just haven't seen anything compelling enough to have me say, yes, that's what I think is happening.
Stop it. You've been to like all of these crazy places in the world that you can't explain how things were built and how they had the technology and why is it so perfect and why is it astrologically aligned in such perfection? Why does Stonehenge line up perfectly with the solstice? Like, why do all these things exist? Like, did they really have the technology? Then
I'm in the camp that they did.
No. Then how did they do it?
They did. I'm giving these ancient people more credit. I think that it is remarkable what you can do if you are laser focused on it. Like, you know, people talk about, I mean, Stonehenge. Okay. Yeah. Stonehenge is astronomically fascinating, but like, look at it. It's pretty like homespun. It's a bunch of blocks that are kind of like,
they're megalithic stones that
I know, but it's not like some laser cut alien.
They came from like hundreds of miles away.
I know, but
they think they rolled them on wood, on logs. Really?
Let me tell you something. This is my one big counter argument to people who believe in like alien intervention stuff. Never underestimate the ability to do difficult things if you don't have much else to do. I'm serious. Like, if you're in Egypt, you're like, okay, I'm the pharaoh. It's 1,000,000 degrees. I got the Nile. We're making food. Things are happening. I'm a egomaniac. I want a giant thing built, and I'm the pharaoh. So everybody's going to, either I'm going to pay this workforce or I'm going to enslave people. That's a big debate, but I think that most of it are like workers. And it's like, nobody has anything else to do. Build me this thing.
I mean, look what Taylor Swift did with the pandemic, man. She made some albums. She got busy. This is what I'm saying. That's her Stonehenge. I'm telling you, if you have nothing else to do, you can do a lot. And if you have enough people, all of these places where there's pyramids and giant constructions, it's not like they're happening in places where nobody's around. They're with these huge population centers where it's like, these people need something to do. We're going to put them on this pyramid project. So you've been to Egypt, the Nile, you've been on the Nile. I've been on the Nile. You've been down to Aswan. You've been to probably the quarry where they supposedly got all of their stones. Like, I have too. And you're like, oh, here. And then you think, oh, okay, it's going on boats. Have you seen those boats? They don't look real sharp. They don't look real sharp. And then you think to yourself, and how did they even get the big stones onto the boat? Like, it just does not make sense.
Danica, you've got to give them more credit.
I can't. I won't. I know what people. I think
won't do it.
Human nature is to do the minimum. Back then, they could have just sailed off into the desert.
When you go to these quarries, the big one is down at Silsila, which is this cool Egyptian quarry. There are like obelisk-shaped notches missing from the walls. Like, they're clearly popping huge blocks out of these walls, right? And we know that not all of them made it. Like, there's big chunks of blocks in the bottom of the Nile. Like, our boat didn't work right. Like, you can see that they're trying stuff and they're moving things. And by the way, when you went to Egypt, you probably saw the bent pyramid. They messed up a pyramid. They got halfway up and they were like, shit. And then they had to change the angle on it. So, like, you can see that they're working on it. But I'm telling you, I'm sticking with my theory, which is if you don't have much to do, you can do a lot.
What have you done the last 3 weeks?
Nothing.
See?
Well, kept my children alive. That's difficult.
That's actually always hard.